Hi, my name is Emery Via, and I'm here to talk about my Educating Others project. I asked my recruits what videos did they watch, how do they feel about these videos, how do they choose the videos, what information did they learn about the videos, and what will they do with this additional information. And I also asked some additional questions to get to know my recruits and to understand my demographic. All my recruits decided they would not like to speak on camera, so I was going to do just me saying what they would like to say. Some of them didn't write so wordier, and some didn't. I really wanted them to, but not a lot of people are very interested in the idea of like doing it, honestly. But yeah. So for my first recruit, her name was Crystal. She is 25, and she decided she was going to watch the Sex Ed, Racism, and Public Opinion. She said, "I agree that sex ed should be properly done in classrooms. I believe comprehensive sex ed should be talked about in children's education, and they should know the proper names of all their body parts and how they work and understand them." For my second recruitment, her name is Erica, and she is 22. She chose to do the history of sex, public opinion, and sex ed. For her, she just said she chose anything that looked interesting to her. So anyway, she really didn't feel very either or about any of them in the sense of choosing when I asked. In her words, that she agrees with how progressive teaching should be taught to kids, and that kids should be taught about their bodies, and how a lot of kids would come forward about abuse easier because that she thinks that it is more, they know what's happening, so they know that if this is happening to them, that okay, that's not what should be happening at their age, and it can be something that is easier being talked about since it's being taught and should be normalized. That was her opinion on it, which I also very much heavily agree on. Sex history, in her words, that it was really crazy because like people weren't teaching each other basic hygiene because it was, oh, that's considered naughty, or that's private, when yes it is, but it's more of a, that's hygiene and keeping yourself clean. And she said that it was silly how like, because the Christians and their Bible are like, oh, Eve ate an apple, that's sin, sex is sin, and everything around like your body parts and sex is now considered like sinful because people just think it is, when it's not, when it's like considered like your body, it's biological. Okay, for my third recruitment, you get to hear straight from them since they are in the room with me at the moment. He is going to stay off camera though. So can you please state your name and how old you are?
My name is Abner Medina. I'm 21 years old.
All right. And so what videos did you watch?
The public opinion of sex ed, the history of sex ed, as well as the sex ed about racism.
Okay. All right. So why did you specifically pick any of those?
To try to fully understand the sexual education system and what is going on and how it benefits. I realized that comprehensive education has shown to be a better option to go forward, as even though it's acknowledged, most conservative states choose not to and only only try to teach abstinence, in which it's shown to have a least effective state, where comprehensive is shown to have a bit more reliability. Children are supposed to be able to acknowledge and define what body parts they have, as well as what's going on within their brains and what's going on as they grow up, right? So they're not as confused once they're older as to what is going on, what actually is this, and can cause a form of bullying as to not knowing. And so it's better for everyone to know what's going on, and so they are able to choose and differentiate between social stigmas from racial standpoints that may not even be existing, that just stem from different cultural ideologies. Yeah, that's what I have to say about the videos.
So for you, like, what are you going to do with this information now that you have it? Like, now that you know these things?
Moving forward, any children that I may have, I would want for them to teach them and for them to fully understand what's going on, so they acknowledge forward. And in a way, hopefully, show that other people how abstinent learning is not shown to be an effective way, and that we should start trying to make sexual education mandatory throughout the ages, so that way sexual assaults can go decreasing from people to know what's right and wrong, and from others, the victims, to know what's going on.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, well, that one was from Abner. Do you have any last words that you wanted to say?
I would like for the sexual education system to be mandatory throughout, but I understand that religious beliefs contradict that. Although that is a point, I do believe that it should at least be taught within the people.
Mm-hmm.
Although conservative states believe that it isn't, it should be taught because it is proved to be effective.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Well, there you go. Okay, so my next one, their name is Elisha, and they are 19 or 18, I believe, and they decided to write it to me like this. Okay, so I watched the 3 shortest videos for her why, which understandable. The public opinion, how it affects race. She picked them because they were very short, but also she wanted to see how she thought that the race one was a little bit interesting, just to see, like, like the different standpoints. Never really thought it would affect race. She also learned how there are high statistics when it comes to adult Americans actually wanting and agreeing with scientific sex ed. And now, since she has learned this information, that she is going to go have safe and protected sex, in her own words. I feel that was a very good response, very short and sweet and to the point. A lot of people did also think that that I did speak with, so yeah. For my 5th person, it is actually my mom, who is the age of 36 and actually has experience in, like, sexual health and education and, like, on the healthcare side of it. She used to work for a women's clinic and did a lot of programs of, like, teen pregnancy prevention, and she worked with a lot of people on that, like in a whole program. And she also now is a counselor for university still, doing like goes to SAC and UTSA and colleges in San Antonio, and like they hand out flyers and like things about sexual wellness for gay men and people in the LGBTQ community. For her, at least in her point of view, since she did have me at a young age, she did feel like comprehension learning is really good, because a lot of kids that are not being told information, and they're just gonna want to be more curious about it. They're gonna want to try to do it. And she's just like, yeah, like there needs to be more information on a more comprehensive base so they can understand it, and you know, it's better for the kids to understand. And for her at least, she said that was like her more biggest point, only due because like she works in more with that field, and that was kind of her like homing thing. But yeah, that's kind of how she felt connected with everything. Now at last is my opinion. I wanted it to be like someone else was interviewing me, so I made Abner interview me. So he's gonna ask me my questions. You can go now.
Which videos have you watched?
So I watched the sex, gender, and orientation 1, 2, and then I watched the concert, the sex ed one. Those are the ones I watched.
And why did you watch these videos?
Okay, so I watched those just cause from what I got from the videos was pretty much like, for the gender and orientation, I identify like as bisexual, and that I like, for me at least, that's like my sexual orientation. And like my gender orientation, at least, like I feel female, and I do believe it is a spectrum, because I don't always feel so feminine, but then I don't feel like 100% masculine. I know I'm not 100% masculine, but I know I'm not 100% feminine, in the sense of like I feel in the middle but more feminine, only because like I don't know if it's just because I feel more because I am very feminine presenting, but yeah, it's just kind of like that. And yeah, and then there was also just like, I really kind of freaked out. I can't remember like each like thing that they said in the five bi-weekly thing, the videos, like the checklist to check if like what gender or sex that the child is given at birth is like, it's all based for men, and never like the other 5 things that actually is like sex. I don't know. I did find that really crazy, and I was just like, wow, like no, like disregard science and facts, and it just be one thing. And then like if that one thing isn't big enough for whatever, you have to be changed and castrized for. Yeah.
And gathering from the information you gather from these videos, what will you do with it?
For me, at least, the information that I've gathered, and the information that I've gathered from the rest of the class that I've watched the videos, I want to inform like my kids someday and inform okay, 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna do this. What I'm gonna use this information for is in the future when I have kids. Eventually, I want to teach them about this at an appropriate time and in a comprehensive way, so they can understand this. And I want them to be well known to the world and adjusted when it's time for them to be away, and learning all that they can in a safe and easiest way possible. I think I want to try to do. Also, just teaching others. Some people don't even know about their bodies. And a lot of women, even that I know, didn't even know that a woman had 3 holes. So, that is something. Yeah,